So we're going to talk through the armies to start with. Ryan brought 2,000 points of Ultramarines. He brought Storm Talon gunship. He then brought this horrible Gonga line. Is it 50 conscripts?
50.
Oh. It's a really, really good common tactic now, but blow me neck. That's a lot for Grey Knights to shoot through. Then we've got a 5-man squad of Devastators and with las cannons.
And a missile.
And a missile. Yeah, just there. What we got here, is it a commissar?
Lord Commissar.
The Lord makes a difference.
Yeah, it's a different unit.
What's the geezer next to him?
Company Commander.
Company Commander. Really nicely painted. I hope that picks it up, but absolutely fantastic. I won't be doing close-ups on my models because they are not anywhere close to that.
Well, we've got some unfinished models here, so not too bad.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of conscripts to paint. Let's be right. He's been painting away for about a week now, solid, to try and get these conscripts, and they look absolutely great for the battlefield. But he's a bit of a perfectionist, and yeah. Do I really need to introduce that guy? You've already seen the back of him. That's all you're gonna get. Oh, do we have to? Beautifully painted. He is an absolute nightmare to face. Obviously,
Still needs some work, actually.
What?
He's not finished for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Just, yeah, absolutely stunning. So he gives the rerolls to hit, rerolls to wound, which the rerolls to wound part is the real bonus of having him in your hand. Well, I mean, you take him anyway if you're an Ultramarines player, let's be right.
I might leave him like that because cool guys don't look at explosions, and obviously.
Oh, Christ. So then, 3, that's right, 3, Demos.
Vindicator laser destroyers.
These are the Forge World models that are absolutely...
I am sponsored by Forge World.
Ta-da! I mean, these are just...
I think it's 60 something a pound a pop.
It's in the title, the Destroyers.
Yeah.
And they do the bloody job really well. Another 5-man squad of Devastators, as if he needed any more heavy firepower, but if you're going to burn somebody to pieces, do it in style. And these are with plasmas, yeah?
Yep.
That's plasma cannons.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got some unfinished Reavers.
He's got some Reavers that are coming in the they're in the Teleportarum at the moment.
We don't teleport, they get dropped in. Skyflown.
That's the difference.
It's...
Grey Knights, quality Teleportarum. These guys just
no, they glide into battle, building daggers.
Pop on the board. Then Scouts.
They're from the other side of the poking through.
I'm gonna have to show that out. Just, yeah.
All with cloaks and in cover.
I don't think he needs much more firepower than that. If I'm really honest with you, but that is a solid list. Oh,
and Tech Marine.
And a Tech Marine with servo harness.
Ready to fix up the damage you do.
I've got to do the damage first. So we'll take a look at the Grey Knights next. Hi guys, welcome to this battle report. We're playing 2,000 points of Grey Knights versus Ultramarines. The mission that we've rolled for today is Big Guns Never Tire. So that's extra points for killing heavy support units and 4 tactical objectives. The 4 objectives placed are one over here. That crate down there. We've got the blown apart Dreadnought there.
And a dead Marine.
And yeah, there's the dead Marine just down there. So I finished deploying the objective markers last, so I picked standard deployment across the board this way. Chose this side of the table. We'll see how that decision pans out. We're playing on a new sort of terrained out board. A lot of MDF terrain. It looks very nice. Still unfortunately got the 2 turds of terrain that I knocked up, but we'll be getting rid of them shortly. We then rolled for the to seize the initiative, and Ryan rolled a 1. He then spent a command point
5
and got a 5. He only narrowly missed out on getting first turn with his drops. I brought a slightly heavier Grey Knight army this time to what I would normally do, and he only missed getting the automatic first turn by 1
Even
drop.
Even though just 1 unit of conscripts.
So we will get on with first turn. So the Grey Knight's 2,000 points. I think I came in about 30 something points under, but
yeah.
As any Grey Knights player will know, what are you going to buy with that points? Not a single bean. So I got 3 5-man strike squads.
That's it.
It's not far off. So there's a squad down there. I did take a assassin. It's the Vindicator.
Yeah.
Obviously I want to be targeting some big guys, so they can target characters, which is fantastic. Shame is they don't do a great deal of damage unless they roll a 6 on their hit roll, but
I can't even see him.
no, because I deeply put him in cover because he'll move first and then he'll shoot, so he can get to a window and then shoot.
You do not, he's blocked.
Slightly.
Entirely.
Slightly, don't panic.
No, he's...
He deployed really well. Slight fuck up there on my part. But there is a guy there, and eventually he might get to shoot.
You can shoot from the bottom right window.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I just have to move left. And then...
I thought I was being crafty with deployment. Turns out crafty wasn't that
you
great.
went here and you couldn't shoot anything.
Yeah, because, and I'll show you this quickly. You look over the top of this building, that lovely bit of terrain in the middle, which is really nice, but it blocks all sight to the things that I want to be shooting. So, no good. 2 Razorbacks, they have got las cannons on top, storm bolters, and I gave them both a hunter killer missile just because I had to find a way to spend a couple of those points. In reserve, I've got a squad of paladins, 3 paladins, 1 with the hammer, 1 with the sword, and 1 with the halberd. Voldus. My original idea was to try and keep the strike squads together a little bit and cleanse him in fire. However, with how the board's set up, it was a little bit dicey, so I've kept him back to teleport in. Then we're taking 2 Dread Knights. They've got heavy Gatling and heavy Incinerator and the Great Sword. And then I have a Grandmaster in Nemesis Dread Knight armour. He has the heavy Gatling and he has a heavy Incinerator, and he's running just a pair of Dread Fists. He is my Warlord for today. We should probably mention that Ryan's Warlord is, of course, the big guy, but I think everybody could have
Robbie G.
guessed that. Robbie G. And then 1 more squad of Paladins there. The idea of putting them on the board was because I obviously hadn't got enough. I need 50% on the board. So they're there. They've got Gate of Infinity, so they can zip off anyway if the power goes off. But they were just needed to be on the board to give the guys over here the ability to stay in the top of Taran. So that's the armies. There's a shot of the battlefield, and we'll get on with the battle.
It'll still be frozen.
So at the end of the Grey Knight's movement phase, I moved up the 2 Razorbacks, tried to get them closer, and we've checked the rules. I can't disembark after it's moved. I've got to disembark before it moves, so they have to survive a round of shooting. Good luck with that, with those pointing at them.
Drop pod.
The Paladins came in over the far side of the board with Voldus. I almost said Drago then, I'm so used to playing with him. Voldus behind him. The Grandmaster came in here, flanked with those. the models can actually move underneath this bridge. So my sort of theory here is try and punch a hole in here and then try and get an assault in there. That ain't likely, but work with what we've got. The strike squad moved out from behind the ruins. They're going to try and make their way over and take advantage of a little bit of cover over here. We actually worked out with the Vindicator that he can see, don't know whether or not this will pick him up, bit of golden armour right at the end, so he can just pick out Gulliman. Not the actual guy that I wanted to go for, because I'd really rather take out his Lord Commissar. Look! Boom, ba-dum, boom, boom.
I can't keep it straight, I don't think, but yeah, there is.
Through the magic. But yeah, not the guys that I wanted to shoot at, but he put them so well in cover.
Neither of those legs.
That there's nothing that I can actually do about it. So that ends Grey Knight's turn 1 movement. So at the end of the Grey Knight's first psychic phase, the Fog of War descends. That was pretty pants.
There you go.
That is the sum total of the psychic phase. 2 conscripts.
On a psycho army.
Failed his smite. Managed to get Sanctuary off on himself, thankfully. Failed his smite. And this is with a +1 benefit for Brother of the Psychers.
When I win, I just do this.
They passed their smite. He passed his smite. I really thought trying to cast Vortex of Doom at the current was an utter waste of time, so I did not bother. And they managed to Gate of Infinity from there down to there to get some shooting onto the conscripts. But yeah, as far as psychic phases go, it was pretty much a dud. So we'll move on to the shooting. So at the end of the shooting phase, it was not best foot forward. Heavy Incinerators on the Dread Knights, D6. I rolled a 1 on each Dread Knight.
Fantastic.
It was...
fantastic.
Yeah, not a lot that can be said about that, to be honest. The 2 Razorbacks fired at the very front. Demos did 2 wounds. Also, not fantastic. These guys over here all shot into the conscripts. I was just trying to thin the blob out, and I managed to kill 21 conscripts.
1 loss to morale.
Not a great thing there at all.
29. He's too stealthy.
I then forgot to fire the assassin, and we play to the rules here, so what a dickhead. All in all, not a very good phase at all. I'm now weighing up the pros and cons of assaulting, but I think it's hard to know. I mean, 3 paladins, I could get the charge off, I feel, with a reroll, but do I really want to take Overwatch from that many guardsmen? Chances are probably not. Just volume of fire would get the job done with those guys. I do, however, feel like the Grandmaster might be worth going in. Lots of wounds might be an option to go for. So we will see in the assault phase. So the assault phase, I didn't go too ballsy because I didn't feel I wanted to, if that makes sense. The idea is I wanted to do something about this conscript blob, so I just charged 1 Dread Knight in, didn't lose any wounds to Overwatch, killed 4 in combat, but what it did do was drag the conga line this way, leaving a gap. These guys, however, are quite far away.
And they're protected.
So the chances of actually getting into that gap are not that great. Although it does lock them in combat at the minute. We do know from conscripts though that they'll be given the order to fall back and then shoot, yes. I would imagine. That's about the best I can do. I'm just trying to navigate this conscript blob to get to the juicy targets. The downside is About to go into Ultramarines turn 1, and there is a lot of firepower staring down the Grey Knights. So we will see how that goes. So at the end of the Ultramarines' first movement phase, the conscripts on order from their Lord Commissar fell back, which with their special order will allow them to shoot as well. Thanks for that. His Storm Talon moved from over here. His Reavers came in 9 inches away from the Paladins. Also Voldus is the closest model to them now, so that is a little bit of a pain. Nothing else really much moved, did it? The scouts stayed where they were. Your line at the back stayed exactly how it was. It's not such of a bad thing for Ultramarines moving, no. Because with the rerolls from being in 6-inch bubble of Gilliman, that +1 to their ballistic skill, or -1 should I say, is almost negated.
They haven't moved any actual Ultramarines, just the conscripts.
Yeah, so they haven't moved.
Aside from the Reavers.
They're obviously out of combat with the Dread Knight now. I'm actually okay with that.
I need to do it to shoot him.
Yeah. There was no point you being in combat, and to be honest, I would have teleported out. Next turn anyway, which is another useful Grey Knight thing, is that you can cast Gate of Infinity while you're in combat with something and move it out of combat. Obviously me and Major Tweed have played several games, and he knows this. So another really good tactical turn from him. The Reavers are on the objective which I placed over there by the ruins, the little ammo crate. Currently I am sat on 0 objectives, whereas Major Tweed has 2.
2, yes.
Oh no, I lie, I'm sat on one, aren't I?
Yeah, you've got
with the Paladins. That was by accident. I hadn't actually planned on that. It may look tactical, but it certainly was not. So the psychic phase we actually skip, because you have no psychics, do you?
I don't use dirty psychers.
That long pause was me just shaking my head in derision.
I just use Demos Vindicator laser destroyers.
Yeah, they work just as well. So basically, we're just going to head straight on to the Ultramarines' first round of shooting, and I am absolutely papping my pants. Take a good look at all these Grey Knight units, because when we come back, I don't think you're going to be seeing, conservatively, half of them. Could be worse, and we might be going epic handshake for an epic fail for the Grey Knights, but we'll see you in the recap of the shooting phase. We called it. Pretty devastating round of shooting. Excuse me. So the 2 Razorbacks went bye-bye. The Demos Vindicators, laser destroying, wonderful things, did the job. Yeah, 2 of them definitely.
One last cannon shot to finish.
A little bit of help from that guy. That squad then disembarked, didn't take any wounds from getting out, but then got whittled down with some more fire from this guy and finished off by the Reavers. The Paladins took some fire and luckily rolled really well to save. 5s and 6s, so they got their invuln save. That Pally lost 2 wounds. Could have been a lot worse. It's probably about the only bit of lucky rolling that I've had so far, but it all helps. Over this side of the board, I lost 1 guy. Not through disembarking, it was firing. I can't remember what fired I am. Storm bolters from the Vindicator. The Dread Knight over here took lots of fire.
I did get up with
I think it was your last cannon, Devs, wasn't it, that took that?
Yeah, finished it off.
And
oh no, one of the reigning Vindicator.
They fired at it, didn't they? Knocked it down, and then the last laser destroyer finished it off. So Yeah, currently the points stand at 8-3. We're doing 3 points per objective.
1 point per heavy support eliminated.
Yeah, so unfortunately, 8 points to 3. Although it could have been worse. I'll take that for a round of shooting, if I'm honest with you. I could have been looking at another paladin squad down, which really wouldn't have helped. So I'm still just about in it. These guys didn't get any attention or love, which is handy. Neither did this guy, which I've got to remember to fire next turn, because that was such a bloody waste. But all in all, pretty good first round for the Ultramarines. I think they certainly took out some heavy guys. The only way I'm going to be able to deal now with these Vindicators is to get into combat with them. However, he still has his blob screen going strong. So it's a case of I really need to deal with that blob squad. The downside is then it's taking away firepower from what it really needs to be going at. But I mean, this is the advantage of the blob squad. I mean, if anybody has any tips to deal with these guys, you know, really feel free to pop them down into the comments below, because
it's meant to be flamers, but your flamers haven't been.
The flamers, yeah. D6 damage, 1. We'll see how that goes in my turn too. But they're proving to be as difficult as I thought they were going to be, especially for an army with so little on the board. So far, I mean, that's an impressive line. It's still holding strong. I'm going to have to deal, I think, with these Reavers next turn, just because A, they're holding an objective, and B, I don't want them running around my backfield taking fire on the Paladins and Baldus. I've kind of been ignoring him. He's doing damage and he's doing what he needs to be doing, but I'm kind of ignoring him and just hoping and praying a little bit, basically. So we'll wrap up turn 1 and come back to you with turn 2. Okay, the end of Grey Knight's turn 2 movement. I moved this Dread Knight up, obviously with the potential of getting another charge off. Left the Grandmaster exactly where he was. I know his ballistic skill's really nice, 2+, but I didn't want to give myself a minus to that. This squad I've moved up from round over there, round here. Get some more firepower onto the conscripts. The Paladins turned around. They're going to face down the Reavers. I didn't realise the stats on the Reavers until I've just seen them. I still think the Paladins will probably have that in the bag. Time will tell. And I moved up Voldus and the Paladins over here, ever looking to get towards the things that are really causing me problems over there. Chances are they'll be firing at the Devies this turn, trying to take them out, because they're not going to get the charge in on those Vindicators this turn. Next turn possibly, but let's be let's be honest. Chances are they are not going to be on the board at the end of this turn, because obviously the Vindicators have no more particular viable targets apart from the Dread Knights or the Paladins, so that you can almost
choose.
Yeah, guess where the firepower is going to go. And he slots 3 of them.
And I have 5 Devastator, well, 5 heavy support in total. So I've got Plasmids, I've got Las Cannon, and I've got my 3 Vindicators.
Gilliman might as well be sat on his bloody porta potty, because he's just not needed to do anything.
It's a mobile game at the moment.
Yeah, everything's in control, I think, for the Ultramarines. So that is it. The guy
will get used this
that hasn't been used yet because of my stupidity hasn't moved. He's still got perfect line of sight on Gilliman. He just needs to remember to pick his effing rifle up and fire it. That's the end of the Grey Knight's movement, so we'll move on to the psychic phase in a moment. So the end of the Grey Knight's psychic phase turn 2. Smiting, what was it, 2 conscripts?
2 conscripts.
Awesome. The Grandmaster...
2 Sams.
Over 2 Sams. He's calling them Sams. I don't think he's being very nice, to be honest, but the Grandmaster got Sanctuary off again, so giving his invulnerable save +1, so he's got 3+ invul. Smited over here. Thought to myself, hey, I've killed a Reaver. No, because the Primaris. They got 2 wounds, so I've only knocked 1 wound off a Reaver. The cool thing, so I was going to smite over here. I was short by what, half an inch? Yeah. And then I thought to myself, I wonder. So from there, I casted Gate of Infinity to move just there, 9 inches outside of this, but able, well, if really good rolling, it's a 10 inch to get into combat with that Demos, which would just make me very, very happy. That's still a really tough roll, and I'm clearly going to save a command point to burn there. That's about as good as it gets, to be honest. So we're going to move on to the Grey Knights shooting and hopefully whittle some of these conscripts down, because I don't like them. I don't like them none.
I like them.
Yeah. Non-surprisingly, they've done the trick so far, so we'll see what I can do. So at the end of a fairly successful, conscript speaking, shooting round, I poured firepower galore in and took out all but 3 of the conscripts. Of course, they have the rule where morale-wise they only lose a guy a turn.
Yeah.
Because of the Lord Commissar. That's another reason for this conscript Lord. Normally they lose X amount and you just like be taking them off the table, but he just literally makes them lose 1 guy around. Luckily though, that has left a gap for charging. Same again, it's going to be a long bomb. And as Ryan's pointed out, Gilliman will come out to play soon. So even if I get lucky with long bombing it, I'm going to be confronted with the Primarch. Over here, they just managed to do 1 wound that went through, which took the last wound off that Reaver there. These guys managed to take out a Devastator, which was only the Sergeant. So there's still 4 plasma cannons eyeing up over there. But all in all, not the worst of shooting rounds. It was probably just about what I hoped for. Obviously, 3 guardsmen left is a little bit annoying, but it's certainly not bad. Then we will move on to the assault phase next. So, assault phase. The Paladins rolled short over there, but I wanted to save my command point re-roll for the Dread Knight. So they didn't get into the Demos over there. They didn't take any damage, in fairness. This Dread Knight did take 3 damage from Overwatch on its way in. Managed to get in, so we'll be fighting against...
Is that his dice there?
That's his dice there. Yeah, he's on to 9. He would have been fighting against the 3 guardsmen in the Demos. I kept him away from the Devastators by over an inch. Hit twice, wounded once, saved on a 6. So that really was not great. So that's where we leave the Grey Knights at the end of turn 2. We will now go on to turn 2. No, turn 2 for the Ultramarines, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for me.
Back in a mo. So at the end of the Ultramarines?
Ultramarines, yeah, Ultramarines.
Ultramaroons live longer with Calga. After the end of the Ultramarines' second movement phase, the Demos fell back, but due to a lovely little chapter tactic. Where are we? Here we are. This one. Ultramarine units with tactic can still shoot in a turn in which they fall back. So subtract 1 from their hit rolls in the shooting phase. That's not that bad because they get the rerolls with Gulliman sat right there.
And it's 1 Vindicator, not 2. By doing that.
Yeah. Awesomes. Do you feel your life flashing before your eyes, Mr. Dreadnought? Dreadknight.
This is nice over here as well.
Yeah, let's get around to here. So, the Storm Talon moved. Baldus. I hope that book soaks up bullets. Probably not. I don't think your Reavers moved, did they?
No.
Not really much need for them to move. Still got the objective and diddly D. This could be pretty destructive. As again, skip the psychic phase for the Ultramarines because they don't have any psychers, and we will get onto the shooting phase. So at the end of the Ultramarines turn to a shooting, as we thought. Goodbye Dread Knight. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Sayonara. Arrivederci. Gone. The Paladins over here got shot to pieces. Voldus took a lot of fire, went from 6 wounds down to 2. Still clinging in there, but the writing's on the wall. Lost 2 Paladins here. So not so good. The Grey Knight forces are... Yes, we must roll with morale.
Yes. Doesn't matter because I haven't done it at the end, so...
But yeah, we'll do that off camera. But yeah, not looking
worse.
good. Summarise in your own words how it could be worse. They could all be dead, I suppose.
Dead,
you could say that.
Not far off.
No, they're not far off.
I mean, if Voldus had died and they had died, you and the Dread Knight had died, you'd have had that one squad and those dudes there.
So if we count up points, you've got 3 here. I've got 3 there. 3-3. Nothing on that, so 3-3 still. But then he gets 1 point for each of the Dread Knights. So that's 5-3. He got first blood.
Yep.
So that's 6-3. Hasn't slayed the Warlord yet, although he's tried heavily there and knocked my Grandmaster down to 6. So knocked 50% off that. 6-3 at the minute. Objective wise,
I can advance down after Voldus is eliminated and get that point. So
yeah,
3.
True.
And then I also have these units, once that's gone I can move them up.
Also true.
Oh, missed the conscript.
The bane of my existence. Yeah, it's not looking good, but we're going to play it out. Because you never know. There'll be a bit of Gate of Infinity shenanigans. And
Assassin, don't forget your assassin.
Nobody sticks the assassin in the corner.
He failed.
Oh yeah. So I forgot to fire him the first round, and then we probably didn't mention this because it wasn't noteworthy. He rolled a 1. I burnt a command point to re-roll it, and guess what? He rolled a 1 again.
Oh, yeah.
No, he didn't. I lied.
He hit, but he failed.
But he failed to wound. So I'm on the fence with this guy. I've heard he can do great things. I'm just waiting to see these great things manifest themselves. So that's the end of turn 2, guys.
And to summarise, what I've lost is
Conscripts.
47 Sams, 1 Reaver, and 1 Devastator Sergeant.
Yeah. Not a lot. Not a lot. But yeah, we'll continue on into game 3. Game 3?
Turn 3.
Turn 3. And we'll see how it goes, but I think we can start to form educated guessworks. You never know. The dice may be unnaturally cruel. Already lining up how he's going to finish me off. A true friend. Right, catch you in turn 3. So at the end of the Grey Knight's movement, Grandmasters move forward. There's no point in trying to retreat, it's just trying to take down as much as possible now, I think. So he's moved forward. The Strike squad have moved over here, although they are just out of range of the objective. This strike squad has moved. They are within 3 of that objective, so they're holding that one. He stayed there, useless sack of monkey nuts. The lone Paladin Justicar, or Paragon as they call him now, but Justicar.
We're yet to do Overwatch, if you do.
Oh yeah. He's got to weather some storm before he gets in and swings his hammer.
You can.
Good boy. Voldus moved forward. He's a bit in no man's land at the minute. Charging and getting overwatched by plasma cannons does not seem like a fun endeavour, but at the end of the day, he is in no man's land.
Hey, if you do kill him, you get to face off against the Primarch.
With 2 wounds left. How did the Drago versus Gilliman fight go?
Was it 2 turns?
It did not go well. He survived a round, didn't he, and then got obliterated. So that's where we are. Going to move on to the psychic phase yet. There may be a little bit of shenanigans, depending on what I gave Voldus, because I'm going to have to check my list and remember. But 2 command points left. Some work to be done. So the end of the Grey Knight's turn 3 psychic phase. Voldus, Gate of Infinity, over there to here. He thought he'd come and help out this lonely Paladin Paragon. He then smited, did a wound. The Paladin smited, did a wound, killing 1 Reaver.
Yep.
However, the Paladin perilled, and then it's D3 mortal wounds and took 2 mortal wounds. So he's only down to 1. So was that worth it? Probably not.
No.
Over here, my Warlord, the Grandmaster in Nemesis Dread Knight armour, cast Sanctuary. And got it on a lovely 6/6. So I needed to use a command point. I re-rolled one of the 6s into a 1, still getting Sanctuary off, but not perilsing because I don't want to take any more wounds off him. That isn't right. I thought he was down to 6 wounds.
He is, so he is.
Oh,
I just went for the quickest one. Yeah.
That confused me with the
I just went for the
9 in the dot. Well, he's on 6, yeah. I was sure he was. They're out of range to smite. I've already gated, but there's no point moving them off the objective. So that's the end of the psychic phase, and we will then move on to the Daka shooty phase. So at the end of the shooting phase, I managed to kill 2 Reavers.
Yep.
Ooh.
Was it 1? No, 1, sorry.
1 Reaver. I thought that'd have been really good rolling others. So 1 Reaver dead. Over here, I killed his crack frag launcher, grenade launcher geezer, and his sergeant. And then I really wanted to kill the conscripts, so I fired the heavy incinerator. Killed 2 of them. Morale, boom. There's the 3 conscripts gone. Almost pointless because they weren't a threat in any way, shape or form. However, they've been a thorn in my side, and just seeing that last Sam leave the board made me feel really good. So that was it for the shooting. As you can see, I've not got a great deal of units left. This guy over here did absolutely bagger all again.
Yeah, and he wound, but
yeah, he did it and wound, but there was a 5 up save because it's -3, so Gilliman's 2 up became 5 up. Saved it, and that was it. So I'm still on the fence with this guy. I think in the right conditions he probably could do well. I just haven't. I've got a phone call. I shall be back presently. So the Nemesis Dread Knight failed in his endeavour of charging.
Excellent.
Twice, even though because he's a Warlord, he got the reroll failed charges.
7 down to a 6.
Yeah, so I rolled a 7, then re-rolled, got a 6. Dogger. The Paladin got in.
Killed 1.
Killed 1. And then
died. He got multiple stab wounds.
He almost made it, didn't
Yeah.
he? 6 wounds,
Yeah.
and
Well, technically I had more attacks, but we didn't.
and I failed. Yeah, we just did your base, didn't we? So it was two attacks each for a normal reaver and 3 attacks for the Sarge. So that with what he had left, that put him at 9 attacks, and it was more than enough. You have a special rule, I believe, that allows you extra attacks.
It's just a special. If each bearer, it can make 1 additional
Attack with this weapon, with a combat knife. So, didn't even need them. But if it had been needed, we would have just rolled the extra attacks, absolutely. Baldus failed his charge terribly, so that didn't really help. And that's the end of the Grey Knight's turn 3. We're now moving on to Ultramarines. Turn, boom boom, shooty shooty, deady deady. Ah! 3. So the movement phase was over in the blink of an eye. The only thing that moved was the Storm Talon. Whoop. Baldus is there in his sights for his shooting phase. These guys here, those guys there. That is all that's left on the board. This will not take very long. Imagine a funeral march in your head, hum it along, and we'll give you the outcome of this shooting phase in just a sec. So at the end of the devastating shooting phase, Warlord gone, squad gone, Baldus gone. I literally have 5 strikes and the Vindicate Assassin left. The game is effectively over, but we are going to play it out to the end because he wants to table me, which any good general wishes to do. So we're
2 turns remaining, plenty of time.
Going to give him the opportunity of satisfaction there. But yeah, really devastating shooting. Those things are just utter beasts. They really, really hurt like hell. He's already thinking ahead. Yeah, absolutely devastating. I think the downfall, certainly so far, has been dealing with Conscript Blob has left me heavily engaged, dead in the water.
And that's been going around thinking.
Yeah, it's pretty much been going at will, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that a little bit in the wrap up. So on to Grey Knight's turn 4. That was a really quick turn 4 for the Grey Knights. Scooted around and through. We decided that they could fit through the windows, so they went through. That's just how we played it. The big dog might as well have a stick in his hand. He did fire, rolled a 1 again.
Did get a 6 to wound, but...
Command point, 6 to wound, Gilliman saved again. So that was a really, really very quick turn 4 for the Grey Knights. The only benefit that they've got is having +1 for being in cover. That really won't matter with the firepower. So we're about to see Ultramarines turn 4, the grand finale. Onwards. The inevitable happened. So the end of turn 4, the Ultramarines finally tabled the Assassin. Got shot to bits by the Storm Talon. Those guys
moving to objective.
Absolutely annihilated. These guys moved here. So if we tot up the points,
that's at 3.
3, 6, 7, 8 for the Dread Knights, 9 for First Blood, 10 for Slay the Warlord, 11 for Linebreaker. 11 to 0.
No, you got those. Oh yeah, they're dead. So
They're dead. 11 to 0.
Yeah.
Really, really good victory. Really, really well played. Epic handshake.
Wrong hand, but
I'm holding the camera. I'm not swapping mid-air. No, really good game. Really enjoyed it. Some lessons to be taken, I think.
goodbye, Assassin.
Yeah. So we worked out, just while we were finishing this last game round, that if I took out the Assassin from the list
And missiles,
the hunter-killer missiles off those Razorbacks, and what have you not, I could fit in another 3-man squad of paladins. That is much more beneficial, definitely.
More useful than a unit sat at the back for a first turn that didn't fire.
Yeah, that was human error the first turn, but I mean after that, just being terrible. Obviously, you want him to be sniping at characters. Alright, Gilliman is a really tough character, don't get me wrong, but just not reliable. The only way that could make him any better... More shots, but he just doesn't have it. So not very good. Paladins, I quite liked him in the 3-man squads. I think you deployed really well, your bubble worked great, which kept them at bay from getting in there. But I think it's 165 points for the 3. It's just, yeah, Paladins all the way, really good. And I quite like having the little squads, it gives you more options for spreading around the board instead of just... Because I think previously I ran a big blob, didn't I?
Yeah.
Which was nice and alright, slightly worrying to play against.
Unless you've got Vindicator laser destroyers.
Yeah.
Which is what tore them apart last time.
For most people it'd be a problem, but it's
re-rolls.
Small little squads. The re-rolls, Gilliman, again, won't call it game breaking, but really strong. If you can castle down, I mean that's set up there. What more do you need?
Took damage on Vindicator, repaired it.
Yeah. You got your servo, your Tech Marine, sorry, to repair that. It's a really nice, solid list, and I feel this Ultramarine list would do very well in a tournament setting. To be honest, conscript blob, tons of firepower, and if it got really nitty gritty, Gilliman's there to charge in and do the clean up work of anything that got close enough. I mean, there was a couple of times my guys did get in, whiffed, but Gilliman would have charged in and knocked the living shit out of them. Scouts didn't really have much of an effective game, although, to be honest, did they need to? Not really. Another game turn, they would have moved down the building, taking the objective at the bottom. But they got some pot shots in. I don't know if they did any wounds, but for the points, absolutely great. You can't knock them. And I mean, that just looks absolutely awesome. Scouts sticking the snipers out of this big building here. Yeah. I don't think there's a lot else to say. Can you think of anything you want to add to it?
It's good.
He's an happy man. He's listed the job it was intended.
Painting.
But it was a really fun game. Hopefully we'll get some more battle reports done in the future. I do want to play a few games against Ryan where we're not filming and not worrying about that aspect of it, because that certainly speeds it up. But hopefully you've enjoyed the videos, guys. We did say that we'd get some battle reports out for you, and today was one of them. Obviously 2,000 points, Ultramarines, Grey Knights, and it was a crushing Ultramarines victory.
I'll see if I can think up another list for next time.
I'm definitely going to think of a tweak of a list, but...
the last list won as well. I could have played that one, which was the blob of tax. Yeah.
I think anything where you stick Gilliman in is pretty good, and if you've got a bit of a castle approach to it, it's not bad at all. Thanks for watching, guys, and happy gaming.